back to India Business Insights. Today, we will explore the history of India's credit rating. India is widely recognized as a vibrant, large economy which has demonstrated a very high level of resilience in times of global crisis. Yet, our credit rating today is same as just before the crisis of 1991. For those of you who may be too for the economic parameters and how did we come out of it? In 1991, India's economy faced a severe crisis. Foreign exchange reserves dwindled to perilously low levels, which were barely enough for 3 weeks of imports, and the government was on the brink of default. This balance of payments emergency forced India to pledge gold reserves and seek an IMF bailout, highlighting deep weaknesses in fiscal and economic management at that time. Fast forward to 2025, and India's economic landscape has transformed dramatically. The country is now the world's fifth largest economy with robust growth, a stable investment-grade credit rating, and vastly improved macroeconomic indicators. This document provides a comprehensive analysis of India's physical and economic evolution from 1990 to 2025, contrasting key matrices like fiscal deficit, debt, foreign exchange reserves, and economic structure, and examines how reforms since 1991 have strengthened the economy. We also compared India's metrics with peer emerging markets and outlined what it will take for India to secure a further sovereign credit rating upgrade in future. Indian economy in the 1990s. In 1990 to 91, India faced a severe fiscal and external crisis. The fiscal deficit exceeded 7% of GDP and public debt had ballooned over the 1980s. Foreign exchange reserves had dwindled to just $1 to $2 billion by mid-1991, while the Gulf War spiked oil prices, worsening the import bill. With insolvency looming, India airlifted gold as collateral for foreign loans and devalued the rupee to boost exports. The IMF stepped in with a stabilization program. Credit rating agencies reacted by downgrading India to junk status. Moody's cut rating to BA3, BA2, and S&P lowered it to BBB with a negative outlook. At the time, India's economy was heavily regulated under the License Raj with government control over key sectors and minimal foreign investment. Tax revenues were weak with a tax to GDP ratio around 15%, and the informal economy dominated. Inflation was in double digits, and the current account deficit, 3% of GDP, was unsustainably financed through reserve depletion. This near collapse triggered a major shift in India's economic policy direction. The economic reforms in India. The 1991 crisis led to major economic reforms under Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and PM Narasimha Rao. Key changes included ending industrial licensing, lowering import tariffs, devaluing the rupee, and opening up to foreign investment. These steps stabilized the economy with GDP growth rebounding to 5% by the mid-1990s and inflation moderating. The fiscal deficit dropped from 7.6% to 5% by 1995 to 96, aided by spending cuts, better revenue, and partial privatization of public enterprises. Forex reserves rose to $30 billion by 1997. Despite progress, India remained below investment grade through the 1990s due to high debt and deficit levels. Nuclear test in 1998 triggered sanctions and rating downgrades. Till the 1990s, reforms laid the foundation for stronger growth in the 2000s. Economic turnaround in the 2000s. By the early 2000s, the reforms initiated in 1991 began to yield significant benefits, with economic growth accelerating to an average of around 6% in the late 1990s and surpassing 7% in the 2000s, positioning India as one of the fastest growing major economies after China. Key developments during this period included infrastructure investment. Projects like Golden Quadrilateral Highways launched in 2001 modernized road transport, boosting infrastructure spending to approximately 5% of GDP and facilitating industrial growth. IT and services boom. The IT services sector, which began in the 1990s, flourished in the 2000s, with Indian software and BPO firms becoming global leaders, significantly driving export growth and job creation. Telecom revolution. Following liberalization, mobile telephony surged from near zero subscribers in 1995 to hundreds of millions by 2005, enhancing connectivity and productivity. Fiscal prudence. The government enacted the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management (FRBM) Act of 2003 to impose discipline on fiscal deficits, aiming to reduce the central government deficit and eliminate revenue deficits. Tax reforms. In 2005, several states introduced a value-added tax (VAT) to streamline taxation, which later paved the way for the national GST, broadening the tax base and improving efficiency. India emerges a robust robust economy and ratings begin to move up. India's sovereign credit ratings finally regained investment grade in the mid-2000s, reflecting these improvements. Moody's upgraded India to Baa3 investment grade in January 2004, restoring an investment grade rating after over a decade in junk status. Subsequently, Fitch Ratings upgraded India to BBB in 2006 and S&P followed by upgrading to BBB in 2007. By 2007, all three major agencies rated India at the lowest rung of investment grade. The rationale cited was sustained high growth, 8% plus GDP growth in 2003 to 2007, improved public finances. The central fiscal deficit fell to 3% of GDP by 2007 and strong external indicators, reserves up, current account near balance. For instance, 2007 marked a year where India's GDP grew over 9% and inflation was moderate, a combination that bolstered creditworthiness. India's GDP growth surged in the 2000s, averaging 7.2% in that decade versus 5.5% in the 1990s. However, new challenges emerged towards the end of the 2000s. The global financial crisis of 2008 caused a short-term downturn. India's growth dipped in 2008-9, and the government undertook fiscal stimulus, which pushed the deficit and debt up again slightly. But compared to many countries, India's weathered 2008 to 2009 relatively well thanks to its limited exposure to toxic financial assets and ample forex reserves that maintained financial stability. Growth rebounded to 8.5% in 2010. 1990 versus 2025. Fiscal deficit and debt. India's fiscal health has seen significant changes from 1990 to 2025. The fiscal deficit was a concerning 7.6% of GDP in 1990 to 1991, but has improved, with the total fiscal deficit central and state governments projected to be around 7 to 8% of GDP in 2025. The central government's deficit for financial year 2024 to 2025 is budgeted at approximately 6.8% of GDP, showing progress from the crisis levels of 1991, although it remains high primarily due to post-COVID recovery measures. The fiscal deficit notably increased in the 2000s, reaching about 4% of GDP in 2007 to 8, but widened in the 2010 due to slower growth and surge during the pandemic in 2020. The government aims to consolidate and reduce the central deficit to 4.5% by 2025 to 26. Public debt levels reflect a similar pattern. In 1991, India's general government debt was approximately 65 to 70% of GDP, rising to 80 to 85% by the early 2000s, peaking around 84% in 2003. The debt to GDP ratio fell to about 68% by 2010 due to strong growth and fiscal measures, but increased again after 2011. The COVID-19 pandemic pushed it to around 90% in 2020, but as of 2025, it has moderated slightly to approximately 85% of GDP. India's debt profile. India's debt profile in 2025 is substantially different in composition and risk compared to 1991. Today, the bulk of public debt is domestic and long-term, government bonds held by local banks, insurance, RBI, etc. Whereas in 1991, external debt was a big worry. By 2025, external public debt is less than 5% of total debt, greatly reducing currency risk. Moreover, the average maturity of government debt is about 10 to 12 years now versus much shorter maturity debt in 1991. This reduces rollover and liquidity risk. The interest cost, however, remains high. Interest payments are about 25% of government revenues in 2025, which is an area of concern. In 1991, this ratio was also high and was a factor in the crisis. The government has maintained a stable sovereign borrowing record since liberalization. India has never defaulted on its obligations, which has helped build credibility. In summary, India's fiscal position in 2025, while improved from 1991, still features relatively high deficits and debt. The country's credit rating is constrained by these metrics, as we will see. Rating agencies want to see debt and deficits on a decisively downward path for an upgrade. One of the most dramatic turnarounds from 1991 to 2025 is seen in India's foreign exchange reserves. In 1991, reserves had dwindled to about $5.8 billion, effectively exhausting by mid-year. By 2025, India boasts forex reserves around $680 billion, one of the highest in the world. The growth of reserves reserves over time is depicted below. India's foreign exchange reserves have soared from $6 billion in 1991 to nearly $700 billion in 2025. Key milestones: $100 billion in 2004, $300 billion by 2008, $500 billion by 2020, reaching $688 billion in 2025. The accumulation of reserves reflects sustained current account inflows and capital investments. Export growth. Since liberalization, India's export basket has grown significantly, especially in services. By 2024 to 2025, total exports of goods and services exceed $800 billion compared to under $20 billion in 1990. Software services exports alone are now over $150 billion annually. This export growth, along with remittances from Indians abroad, has helped keep the current account deficit in check. Foreign investment. From negligible FDI prior to 1991, India has attracted hundreds of billions in foreign direct investment and portfolio investment over the years, drawn by its growth prospect. These capital inflows not only finance any current account gaps but also add to reserves. Reduced external debt vulnerability. India's external debt as a percentage of GDP is modest. Around 20% of GDP in 2025, mostly long-term, and short-term external debt is very low, 3 to 4% of GDP. In 1991, external debt servicing consumed over 30% of export earning. Today, the debt service ratio is 5 to 8%, indicating much stronger external solvency. Crucially, high forex reserves have sharply improved India's import cover from less than 1 month in mid-1991 to over 12 months of import cover in 2025. This provides a strong buffer against external shocks, example oil price spikes or capital flight. Indeed, during the 2013 taper tantrum, when foreign investors pulled out from emerging markets, India's reserves, then around $275 billion, helped stabilize the rupee after an initial drop. By 2025, India's reserve stock $680 billion acts as a formidable defense. It is about 8 times larger than the country's total external short-term debt. Current accounts from large deficits to occasional surplus. The management of India's current account deficits (CAD) has significantly improved since the 1991 crisis, demonstrating a more prudent approach post-reform. In the late 2000s, the CAD increased to approximately 2 to 3% of GDP due to rising oil and gold imports. However, corrective measures including rupee depreciation and target policy interventions help address this issue. By 2025, India's CAD has stabilized around 1% of GDP, a manageable figure that is easily supported by net capital inflows. Notably, India has even experienced current account surpluses in certain years, such as in 2020, when a contraction in imports led to a small surplus. The moderate CAD, combined with substantial foreign reserves, contribute to a robust external credit profile, which rating agencies regard as a strength in 2025, contrasting sharply with the vulnerabilities of 1991. Despite these improvements, India is not entirely shielded from external shocks. The rupee continues to experience gradual depreciation, influenced by factors such as higher domestic inflation compared to its trading partners and capital flow dynamics. However, the inflation rate differential remains minimal and currency fluctuations are generally stable. India operates under a market-determined exchange rate regime, with the Reserve Bank of India (RBI) intervening as necessary to mitigate volatility. The ample reserves at the RBI's disposal enable it to manage excessive fluctuations in the rupee by engaging in dollar transactions as required. Structure of Indian economy. Beyond headline, fiscal and external numbers, the structure of India's economy has undergone a significant transformation. India has become a predominantly service-driven economy with world-leading sectors in IT, business, process outsourcing, pharmaceuticals, and more recently, digital services. GDP growth performance. As shown earlier, annual GDP growth has accelerated over the decade, roughly 5.5% in the 1980s and 1990s to over 7% in the 2000s. Even including slower years, India's average growth in the last 30 years, 1991 to 2021, is around 6 to 7%, making it one of the fastest growing economies worldwide. This consistent growth contrasts sharply with the slower Hindu rate of growth, 3 to 4% in the pre-1991 era. The higher growth has lifted millions out of poverty and expanded the middle class. Per capita income. In 1991, India's per capita GDP was around $300. By 2025, it is approximately $2,500. While still low by global standards, India remains a lower middle income country. This represents an 8-fold increase, reflecting improved living standards. Higher per capita income contributes to creditworthiness, though India's figure is still below peers like Indonesia or Philippines. Tax base and inflation. Structural strength include an expanding formal economy and improved macro management. Inflation, once a persistent problem averaging 8 to 10% in the 80s to 90s, is now more subdued thanks to an independent central bank with an inflation targeting mandate. Over 2015 to 2025, CPI inflation averaged 4 to 5% within the RBI's target range. Controlling inflation has lent stability to the economy and confidence to the investors. Investments and savings. Gross capital formation investment rate in India increased from 23% of GDP in 1990 to around 30% of GDP in 2025. At times in the late 2000s, it even crossed 35%. Although it fell back a bit in the 2010s, the investment rate remains healthy and is a driver of growth. Domestic savings similarly rose, enabling largely self-funded investment. In qualitative terms, India's institutions and policy frameworks are stronger now. The Reserve Bank of India operates with greater autonomy and uses modern monetary policy tools. Fiscal responsibility laws guide budget planning, even if sometimes deferred, and financial sector oversight has improved. The banking system, which in the 1990s was wholly government-owned and inefficient, has been partly reformed by 2025. Non-performing loans are down and private banks have grown, improving credit delivery. All these structural changes contribute to what rating agencies call economic resilience. Indian economy in 2025 is far more diversified and robust against shocks than it was in 1990. This was evident during the COVID-19 shock. Despite a severe contraction in 2020, minus 6.6% GDP, India bounced back with 9% growth in 2021 and 7% thereafter, quickly regaining its pre-pandemic GDP level. India's global standing in 2025 versus emerging marketing peers. By 2025, India is not only dramatically changed relative to its own past, but has also risen in the ranks of global economies. India is currently the fifth largest economy in the world, nominal GDP $4.2 trillion, up from rank 10th in 1991. Within emerging markets, India is second only to China. The chart below compares India's GDP with other top emerging economies in 2025. India's GDP $4.2 trillion versus other major emerging economies in 2025. China $19 trillion, Brazil $2.1 trillion, and Indonesia $1.4 trillion. India is by far the second largest economy among emerging markets. This economic scale gives India significant weight in global forums, G20, etc., and in investors' portfolios. Yet, despite India's size and growth, its sovereign credit ratings remain the slowest investment grade, BBB, Baa3. A pertinent question arises: how does India compare to peers on debt and deficits, and are ratings fair? When we compare India with peers like Indonesia, Philippines, and Vietnam, dynamic emerging Asian economies, some differences stand out. Below is a snapshot of debt to GDP for India and these peers in 2025. The comparison shows that India's higher debt and deficit have held back its rating. Even though India scores well on growth and external stability, India's strengths relative to peers include its size, a diverse economy, not reliant on single commodity or sector, and huge domestic market that fuels growth. India's GDP growth 7% and also outpaces Indonesia 5% and is on par with Philippines and Vietnam 6 to 7%. India's foreign reserves $680 billion are much larger in absolute terms, providing more cushion than peers. Indonesia $140 billion, Philippines $100 billion. These factors support India's investment grade status. Understanding rating anomalies. Also, the debt to GDP ration and all related parameters which rose post-COVID are coming down rapidly. It's also instructive to compare India with some developed nations in one area, public debt and ratings. Countries like Japan, the US, France and Italy all have much higher debt ratios than India, yet enjoy higher credit ratings. The chart below juxtaposes debt levels and indicate ratings. This seeming rating anomaly where India is rated just BBB despite moderate debt relative to some richer countries stems from a few factors. Strength of various institutions. Richer countries benefit from higher per capita income, stronger institutions, and the ability to borrow in their own reserve currencies. They also generally have a long history of low default risk. Though India compares well with many of the richer countries in this respect, it is also debatable. If the Western institutions are stronger, as we have seen their relative inability to handle the economic crisis at the beginning of the present millennium, multiple European countries going through sovereign debt crisis and near crisis. crisis, the response to COVID. In all these recent events, the Indian Central Bank and the other institutions are perceived to have performed significantly better than their global peers. India, as an emerging economy with low income and historically higher inflation, is viewed as riskier in relative terms as its rating is lower. Nonetheless, the Indian government often points out its disparity, arguing that India's fundamentals warrant a higher rating and that rating agencies should give more credit for India's exemplary debt repayment record and improved resilience. The agencies respond that they rate on a relatively scale India's BBB reflects its standing among global sovereigns currently at the cusp of investment grade. Having discussed the economy, let's summarize India's sovereign credit rating journey over the past 3 decades. What will it take for an upgrade? So, what does India need to achieve to get to the next credit ratings tier? That is, move up from BBB to BBB or higher. The rating agencies themselves have outlined certain prerequisites for an upgrade. Here is a consolidated checklist of conditions that S&P, Moody's, and Fitch have indicated. Further fiscal consolidation. Agencies stress the need for India to reduce its fiscal deficit and debt. S&P requires a significant decline in the general government fiscal deficit towards 6 to 7% of GDP for an upgrade, which would place the debt to GDP ratio on a downward trajectory. India must raise revenues through tax expansion and privatization, while restraining expenditures to lower the debt burden. Achieving a central deficit target of 4.5% by financial year 26 would be a major step. A declining debt ratio improves credit metrics and eases interest payments, allowing more budget allocation for development. Maintaining high growth and increased income levels. Sustaining 6 to 7% GDP growth is crucial for diluting debt and increasing income levels. Moody's may consider an upgrade if growth prospects improve. India has demonstrated a strong ability to achieve higher growth rates over 2 decades, raising questions about rating agencies' assessment. The fiscal deficit and debt surged during COVID-19, but robust growth is improving these metrics. As incomes rise, India's capacity to generate tax revenue strengthens, justifying higher ratings. Continuing structural reforms in labor laws, business climate, and manufacturing will further enhance growth potential. Strengthen monetary and price stability. India has effectively managed inflation with the RBI maintaining rates around the 4% target. Low and stable inflation reduces macroeconomic volatility, preserving purchasing power and currency stability. Continued prudent monetary policy and supply-side measures will support this trend. Stable inflation can lower interest rates, reducing borrowing cost and improving the interest-revenue ratio, bolstering India's case for ratings upgrade. External resilience and balance. India's external position is currently strong, but agencies like S&P urge the country to maintain this status by keeping the current account deficit (CAD) modest, around 1 to 2% of GDP, and ensuring ample foreign exchange reserves. While India's foreign exchange reserves are substantial, it's crucial to avoid macroeconomic imbalances. Continued investments in renewable energy and high remittances have helped keep the CAD low. Rating agencies values India's stable democracy and consistent reforms since 1991. To achieve an upgrade, India must avoid populist policies that would worsen deficits and commit to ongoing reforms such as simplifying GST and enhancing infrastructure. Moody's suggests that successful reforms could positively influence credit ratings. The criteria for an upgrade include reducing deficits, sustaining growth, controlling inflation, preserving external strength, and advancing reforms. If India continues on this path, a rating boost from S&P to BBB could happen within 1 to 2 years. An upgrade would lower borrowing cost and enhance international confidence in India's economic management. India's transformation from a near-default state in 1991 to a resilient economy by 2025 is notable, with significant improvements in key economic metrics. While fiscal deficits remain high, they are more sustainable now. Investors are increasingly optimistic about India, suggesting that a rating upgrade may be justified. Ultimately, India's policymakers view ratings as outcomes of a healthy economy, not goals. Focus is on achieving a $5 trillion economy and improving living standards, which will likely lead to a better credit ratings over time. India's journey showcases the benefits of prudent economic management and ongoing reform, positioning it for the recognition and growth. Thanks for watching.